Live from global British Columbia, the new News Hour with Randy Neal.
Good afternoon. The RCMP Public Complaints Commissioner has come out with his report into the death of Ian Bush in Houston, BC 2 years ago. Paul Kennedy ruling this morning that the use of lethal force in the shooting death of Bush inside the RCMP detachment was reasonable. Bush was arrested outside the local hockey rink in October of 2005 for giving a false name. 20 minutes later, Constable Paul Koester shot him in the head. Reporter John Daly is in downtown Vancouver, where he's read the Commissioner's report and several recommendations as well. John, how did the Commissioner come to the conclusion that reasonable force was used?
Well, Randine, the pivotal issue in this whole thing is whether the North District Major Crimes Unit did a good job investigating Constable Koester's actions in handling of Mr. Bush and the subsequent shooting. The bottom line is they did a highly professional job investigating. It was free of bias, and Kennedy discounts the independent blood spatter expert, Constable Joe Slemko of Edmonton's contention that Constable Koester could not have shot Ian Bush in the back of the head while Bush was on top of him, choking him. Kennedy says the major crimes investigation was right. It was self-defense.
What I found is that, as a matter of fact, Mr. Ian Bush was behind and on top of Officer Kessler, that Kessler took his gun, struck him 3 times on the head to try and force him to release, and it wasn't released. The head was turned in such a way that when he discharged the bullet went through the back of the head and lodged itself near the front. I have found that.
Are you prepared to accept what the Commissioner seems to have found, that basically Constable Koester was gasping for his life and did in fact shoot your son in the back of the head justly?
No, that's just not how we can see it. And of course, we felt that way right from the very beginning, but the more that we see of the investigation, of the evidence, it just reinforces our belief no, that is not how it happened.
John, did the Commission Chair Paul Kennedy say anything about how the RCMP investigated itself?
Yes, he says that it's obvious that there's a lot of public concern over the issue of the police investigating themselves. He's starting his own investigation now, looking back over 5 years' worth of files where the police have investigated serious incidents, sometimes deaths, involving police officers. Cases just like the Bush case. So he's going to look at cases from right across Canada to see whether or not they are free of bias, whether they were conducted properly, whether there was any conflict of interest, either perceived or actual, and whether or not the RCMP policies are adequate to ensure fairness and to instill public confidence.
All right, John, I understand he also made several recommendations. That was one of them. What were some of the other ones?
Well, the other big recommendation is that there be closed-circuit television in the booking areas of all detachments right through the province. He's very pleased with Solicitor General John Less's statements on this, that he's moving in that direction, but he also noted that there's many jurisdictions involved here, municipal, provincial, and federal, and it's going to take some money to do this. The Commissioner of the RCMP hasn't signed on totally to this idea, so that's a bone of contention between the head of the RCMP and the head of the Public Complaints Commission. But he wants to see it done, and he also wants policies to ensure that whenever somebody is released or taken into custody, it's done so in a special booking area or transition area at the detachment, which apparently doesn't exist at the Houston detachment. So it means renovations for the detachments like Houston and perhaps some other ones. So there's going to be some money involved in this if, in fact, the RCMP buys in.